Another chaotic, beautiful, and emotional story by Goran Stolevski. Let's talk about Housekeeping for Beginners. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Housekeeping for Beginners, which is coming to theaters on April 12th, 2024. It is the third feature film by Goran Stolevski. His previous films were You Won't Be Alone and Of an Age. I loved both of them. Do I love this new drama that is strange but also wonderful? Of course I do. My hot take is I definitely think you should watch it. Full disclosure, I love Goran's work. I loved all of his previous films, and I love this film. It is just a really raw, emotional, and beautiful journey for a family that is unconventional, but oh so perfect. It is well paced, it is wonderfully written, it is complicated, but ultimately it tells a very fascinating and wonderful story. So I definitely think you should watch it. Check it out when it comes to theaters on April 12th, 2024. And if you haven't seen Goran's other work, you should definitely check out his other films, Of an Age and You Won't Be Alone. They are fantastic. Goran is probably my favorite young director, and this is another fantastic film from him. So I'm going to tell you a little about the film, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into the ending. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the ending section. If you don't want to know what happens in this movie, and you might not, there are some surprises. I would turn it off when I get to the ending section. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler-free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So in Housekeeping for Beginners, you have the main adults in this film, Dita and Tony. They're living in this house together with a lot of other people. It is an interesting family relationship. It seems like everyone in this house is gay or queer in some way, and so even though Dita and Tony are like, I guess, the two adults, the kind of what you would traditionally think as mother and father, they're not together. They've just been living together for a long time, and people that they picked up along the way, friends and lovers, also live in this house. It is kind of a chaotic, wonderful family that they have built around each other. But all of that kind of changes and solidifies when a big life event happens that forces this family to step up in ways that they hadn't expected to. So, all that being said, things I liked about this movie. The first, I like the chaotic start. Like I said, this is a strange household. This is a kind of a weird living situation, and the chaotic start helps to emphasize that. This is something that Goran has done in other movies. Of an Age started very chaotically. It was a wonderful way to start, a little bit stressful, but also wonderful. And this is no different. You got a lot going on. You have a lot of characters introduced. There isn't a ton of backstory, and you just kind of like learn about this place and the relationships along the way. But I did like the chaotic start because it kind of frames what this house is like, what this household is like. The second thing I loved, it is very raw, like from the characters to the language to the content. This film doesn't really feel like it packs punches. The language is coarse at times, but I think it's supposed to be that way. It is kind of a natural way that these people are talking. It is nice to have a film that deals with like cultural racism and homophobia in a raw way. It feels like it doesn't sugarcoat anything, and that is good when you're telling a story like this. The third thing I love the writing. Look, I always love Goran Stolevski's writing. Even if it's not in English, this film is not in English. It is in Macedonian, Romani, Albanian, and French. But even though there are all these languages in, the writing is really easy to follow. I love the subtitles. I love the way that the characters interact. It just is really fun dialogue and really kind of helps to flesh out the characters. The fourth thing I loved the emotion. Like I said, this is a story about a family kind of being forced to step up and change due to circumstances, and that leads to a lot of emotion. And it is in this film, it is well done. It is raw, just like the content, but it is also very beautiful, and it helps to elevate a drama when you've got really good emotion. And some of that emotion is expressed by the fifth thing I love, the characters. Everyone in this film is a character in their own respect, and everyone feels like both fleshed out and flawed. There are a lot of personalities that live in this household that kind of make this household what it is, and that can be fun and frustrating, which makes a lot of things about this film interesting. And the sixth thing I liked about this film, I love the performances. They are really, really good solo performances. Like I said, there's a lot of emotion in this movie, and that it comes through in the performances, comes through in the characters, comes through in the way they interact. But overall, this is a drama. This is a film about the relationship between these people, and that doesn't really come together unless you have really great performances. There are some really, really fun characters. I especially loved Ali, played by Samson Selim. He is just a very charismatic, fun X factor in this family dynamic. You might ask why I'm wearing a tank top. Well, that is an homage to my favorite character in the film, Ali, played by Samson Selim. I thought he was fantastic. He wears a tank top in a lot of it, so I figured I'd wear a tank top too. And I also really loved Anamaria Marinca as Dita. She is kind of the matriarch of this family. She is the one that is like forced to put them on their back, whether she really wants to or not. And the last thing I loved the music. There is some beautiful classical music in this that helps to emphasize the drama. This is a drama, and if you have really beautiful music underpinning this movie, it definitely helps with the emotion and some of the scenes. So, all that being said, a lot of things I loved. Anything I didn't like? Well, very minor things. The first thing I didn't love as much, The chaotic start. Look, I said I liked it, which is good because it framed this, but it also made it tough to like understand what was going on. I didn't really get a full picture of this film until further in, and that's not bad. It was a little bit frustrating at the start to not know what was going on with all these characters, but you get it eventually. It is just tough to follow at the very start of the film. The second thing I didn't love as much. Look, some of the aspects of this family relationship are not explained. It's fine, you don't want to have too much explanation. There are some things I wish I knew about these characters that you don't get. You don't really get kind of how some of them came together. You don't get, what some of them are doing, but it's okay. There was one like main relationship I wanted to know more about, but you didn't get that information. But overall, it's fine. You don't need that information to enjoy the film. I wish there was a little bit more, and that's always a good thing, right? If I want some more from a movie, that tends to be pretty good. And the last thing I didn't love about this film, I'll call it the hand cam aspect. It looks like this movie was filmed with like a hand cam, so a lot of the scenes have like subtle shifting as it's focusing. I don't know if that was supposed to be that way to make it feel like it's more intimate, like it's not a big movie, like you're kind of an intimate scene with these characters, and that might also be reflected in the 4:3 aspect ratio that this film is in. I believe when you have a 4:3 aspect ratio, that tends to focus more on the characters, so you get a better sense of the drama. But it was a little bit distracting at times. I eventually got used to it. I didn't notice it after a while, but at the start, it is a little bit distracting to have subtle shifts in movement of the camera. So just know that you get used to it, but it was a little bit frustrating at the start. So all that being said, Housekeeping for Beginners is coming to theaters on April 12th, 2024. Like I said, I think you should watch it. It is just a wonderful, beautiful, raw, emotional drama that just feels like something you wouldn't get from anyone else other than Goran Stolevski. Definitely check it out when it comes to theaters. And I'm going to go into the ending right now. So if you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So Housekeeping for Beginners kind of centers in the house that is kind of owned slash managed by Dita and Tony. You don't really ever know, I think, why they are together. I didn't get that information. I don't know if they were like together at one point or if they are friends that just started living together. I don't really know, but they have this house that has become almost, I don't know, like a shelter, or at least kind of taken on other gay and queer characters in Macedonia. They all have like come here for various reasons, but they have formed this family. You have Swada, who is Dita's girlfriend. Swada has two kids, Vanessa and Mia. Vanessa is like, I think 15. Mia is much younger. They are part of this house. There's also a couple other female, like younger, like, I don't know, 20-year-old females that live in this house that seem to have been here for a while. They're part of like the whole family dynamic. And then you have Ali, who is this new person that Tony hooked up with, and I guess was told that he could just stick around for a bit. He is here hanging out, but he kind of catches on very quickly. No one really knows much about him at the start, but he really gets kind of like, I don't know, close. He seems to have a really good friendship with Mia, the youngest daughter. He seems to be really good with her. He seems to like, play with her a lot. He, like, at the start, I think she is painting his nails. And so he establishes a bond with Mia, and through that kind of becomes part of this family. And he still is like dating Tony. So they become kind of a couple as this movie progresses. Now, Ali and Swada and by extension Jessica and Mia are all Romani descent. They are from Shutka, which is, I guess, Macedonia's only Roma-run city. So it is this like Roma center in Macedonia. It is kind of a mixed place because it is where these people are from. So they have relationships there, they have friendships there. It is very welcoming to them, but it also seems to be, I don't know, have more poverty, have less opportunities. Sweda specifically came here with Dita so that her kids could go to like a nicer school than they would get in Shuka. So it seems to be kind of a mixed bag, but that is kind of where everyone comes from at the start of this movie. Now, unfortunately, at the start, you have a big crisis happen. It seems like Swada has cancer, pancreatic cancer, and you get to see some of like the subtle racism that exists, I guess, in Macedonia and probably everywhere, but I think it's specifically for Macedonia against the Romani people. Swada is at a doctor. They're like they're looking at her results, but the doctor keeps getting distracted. He keeps like not paying attention to what happens. He keeps like, kind of ignoring her. And the implication is that he's ignoring her because she is Romani. And someone else comes in saying that they've been waiting for like 6 hours, and doctor like tells her to go away, like he doesn't want to talk to her, like wait her turn, and she is also Romani. So this shows like the prejudice, the bias against the Roma people in this area, and some of the problems that they face, kind of just getting basic needs, basic healthcare. Now, they try to find another doctor, they try to find some treatment for Swada, but it is too late, it is too far gone, and eventually Swada passes away. And before that, Swada tried to like convince the children to say that Dita was their mother. Her and Dita aren't married. I assume there's no gay marriage in Macedonia, which is why they're not married. They seem to be hiding their relationship from, Dita's friends and colleagues. So they never got married. So there is no legal binding between Mia and Jessica with this family that they have become a part of. So Swada, before she dies, was trying to get them to like start calling Dita mom. Like, ignore her. She is nothing to them. Call Dita mom, which was really difficult for the kids to understand. I know Swada was like trying to do what she thought was best, when she realized how bad it was. It is tough for the kids to understand, but, Swada is doing this to make sure that they have a better life. She doesn't want them discriminated against. She doesn't want them to have to go back to Shuka. So she does this before she dies, and then she eventually passes away. Now, afterwards, things fall on Dita to kind of manage this all. She has now become the kind of like not unwilling, but unexpected mother of these two kids. They have just lost their mom. There is no legal relationship between Dita and these children, but they are kind of under her care. And so she has to start making this work. She has to figure out how to keep them there. And that starts involving other members of the family. So the first thing that has to happen is, look, the children, their mother was definitely Swada. They need someone to be the father. And the only male who would kind of fit is Tony. So Ali, who seems to know someone in Shuka, someone political in Shuka, gets a doctored birth certificate to show that, at least Mia, because she's the one that's the more important, she's the smaller child, her father was Tony. And so that then gives some sort of legal support for Mia being here. So now that Tony has some sort of legal parenting relationship, now we need Dita to get involved. And how does she do that? Well, it looks like Dita and Tony have to get married. It is a funny ceremony. They have a very small ceremony. The people, the family members are all there. Tony is very not excited about this. Dita doesn't love it either, but she needs to have some sort of legal relationship with these kids. Otherwise, she's worried that, they're going to get taken away. So they have this like fun, awkward ceremony where all the other family members, are kind of like laughing a little bit. Ali is, like, I guess the best man. And I think Vanessa might be the maid of honor, but they do this, they get married. Now they have some sort of legal standing. And then they have this like fun, silly, like reception at the house where everyone kind of like jokingly congratulates them and they get drunk. But just because they are legally a family doesn't mean that they are fully integrated as a family. Mia seems to be taking to this fine, especially with Ali there. He is very sweet with her. I love his interactions with her. It is really kind of fun to see them together. But Vanessa isn't taking this well. She is already kind of just angry in general. I don't think she gets treated well at school. She gets, she seems to be picked on. She seems to, have a crush on someone, and that person's like girlfriend is threatening her, things like that. Vanessa doesn't really seem to be processing all of this very well. And so she and Dita are always at each other's throats. Now, eventually, Vanessa, says essentially that she wants to go back to Shuka. And Dita's like, okay, like, great, like, let's go. They take Vanessa, Mia, Dita, Tony, and Ali back to Shuka to go find Vanessa's grandmother. And when they get there, I don't think it was the type of reunion that Vanessa was expecting. I don't know. Maybe she expected it to be great in Shuka. I don't know if she had left a while ago and didn't remember it, but they finally get there, and it is not what I think Vanessa expected. The grandmother is fine. Like, they're sweet and welcoming once they realize who this is. They have like a full day together, hanging out, talking and whatnot. But it doesn't seem to be this kind of like magical wonderland that Vanessa, I think, seemed to envision. So she goes back with the family, back to, wherever their house is. But I think her dreams were a little bit crushed in that respect. So Tony seems to be a very emotionally repressed man. Even though he's going along with this, he doesn't really ever seem to be fully invested in the family. He doesn't really seem to want to interact much. And he starts to get a little frustrated about this whole situation. He seems to be taking it out on Ali. Eventually, he sees on Ali's phone a picture of like a shirtless man, and he just gets angry at Ali, gets on top of him, like slaps him in the face, punches him. And Ali's like, I don't like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? Turns out, you found this out earlier, Ali and Vanessa have the same phone cases. And so they must have gotten switched. Vanessa was, I guess, sexting with the boy that she has a crush on. Tony saw that. He thought it was Ali. He like punches Ali, takes out some of his aggression on him. And this, I think, embarrasses Vanessa. So she then goes, she takes her phone, locks herself in the bathroom, and won't come out. And eventually Dita has to break down the door to get Vanessa to come out. I guess she's embarrassed, maybe. She seems to just be kind of angry in general. And Dita has to break this down to get Vanessa out because they have to go to this work party. Dita was invited to a work party with one of her friends. She's going to bring her husband and her children. So Dita, Tony, Vanessa, and Mia all go to this work party. It is insanely awkward in all ways. Tony doesn't really have any interest in interacting with any of these people. He is kind of closed off and doesn't really help with conversation. Dita's polite, but there's only so much that she can do on her own. Vanessa goes to hang out with the children. They're all a lot younger than her, so she isn't really having much fun. She ends up drinking a lot and kind of making a scene. And so eventually the family has to leave after Vanessa is describing inappropriate things with these children. She's like giving them a lesson on how babies are born, the real way that babies are born. So they all leave. And when they get back, Vanessa expresses her frustration in a new way. She takes her phone and calls the police and says that she's been kidnapped, which causes a big issue here because they have all these people living in this house. They are kind of, the guardians of Vanessa and Mia, but they're not really. If you really dig in too much, there might be some questions asked. And they have all these other random people living in this house. So Dita has to jump into action, tells everyone they have to leave. The police are going to come. They clean up the place. They put on, like nice clothes, wait for the police to come. The police show up and Dita and Tony handle it. It is awkward, but they handle it. They kind of like get the police out of there. But this was like a big selfish step that Vanessa took to kind of get her frustration out. Now, later, Vanessa doesn't come home from school. It seems like she's still dealing with the emotions that are happening. It still seems like she's still dealing with all of this. So the family starts to get worried. They're wondering like where Vanessa is. They try calling her friend. They figure that she's probably in Shuka, and they need someone to help track her down. Now, remember earlier, Tony attacked Ali for, being unfaithful, even though didn't happen, even though it wasn't his phone. And when he hit Ali, he like bloodied his nose. And that was the last straw for Ali. He left. He left that household. And so now that Vanessa is missing, they need someone who knows Shuka. They need someone who knows the people there. And who better but Ali? So Tony and Dita go, they find Ali and convince him to help them find Vanessa. They've tracked down the person she was texting with. They go to a few people in Shuka. They try to figure out where she is. And eventually they locate her. They locate her in, it seems kind of like a sex house, like a prostitute house. It's never fully fleshed out what is going on. Ali seems to know these people, seems to know like what they were doing. He knows like the person who owns the house. So there's no like trouble, but they go in, they kind of open all the doors. They eventually find Vanessa and then they shoo her out very quickly. Like it's very interesting. Like they don't seem to be in danger, but when Ali finds Vanessa, he like hugs her and is like, stay close to me. And they like run out. He apologizes, says that he owes his friend or the person that kind of runs the house before they take Vanessa and leave. So they are able to find her. They're able to bring her back. They're able to like use their connections, use this family relationship that they have to keep their family together and bring her back home. I'm not sure if she was held here against her will or if this was just the only place that she could go that would take her in. But Vanessa seems to have been a sex worker there. She asked for some pregnancy pills. So it seems like she performed some sex acts there or, did something there that requires pregnancy pills. She says this while she's like wiping the makeup off that she had to wear and is changing into normal clothes. So it seems like it was a pretty terrible experience and she is happy to be back home. So Ali comes back with them. It seems like Ali is back in the family. When he gets there, the first thing that happens is Mia gives him a big hug, which is really sweet. Their relationship is like my favorite part of this film. And Tony also seems to be growing a little bit. He finally apologizes to Ali in his way. He doesn't like say he's sorry, but he says like, I do everything wrong, which I think is a big apology for Tony's character and at least shows that he realizes that he did something wrong and is trying to make it up. So it seems like the family is back together and this film ends with a dance scene. They are at Mia's dance recital at her nice school. They're at this nice school. They have a nice little dance recital for all the kids. It is cute in the way like that kids dance recitals are. It is chaotic, but it is also adorable. The whole family is there. And afterwards, there's a little bit of a reception at the school. And Dita and Vanessa sit together and they have like a heart to heart. And Dita basically tells her, look, like, you were right. I'm not your mother. I'm not a mother. I never will be. But maybe I could be like a sister for you. Like, I'll be there when you need me. I'll be there to support you. And we can leave it at that, which I thought was interesting. Like, I guess it makes sense. Like Vanessa is older. She probably doesn't need a mother, but it is also weird because Dita is very much like her mother. Like she did things to help her. She did things to like support her. So I guess, at least this understanding is Dita kind of understanding that she won't be Vanessa's mother, but she's trying to fit her into the family in a way that makes sense. She probably is going to be Mia's mother because Mia's young enough that she can probably like latch onto her. But it seems like her and Vanessa will at least be members of this family and have an understanding together. So it seems like the family's together. So the final scene in the film has Ali leading the kids in this like nursery rhyme version of, I guess, this song that was big in Europe a couple years ago. You can hear it at the very start of the film, and then they kind of bring it back in like a nursery rhyme style. It is a song that was in Eurovision. It is a big hit in Europe. But the underlying message is about how, this person has to stay healthy, has to keep healthy, which was kind of a nice beat. It was a catchy beat. But after talking to Goran Stolevski, it was really, a way to kind of frame the ending where, it's not a super happy ending. The family is closer. The family is, together. But life is not perfect for them. There are still going to be challenges. They still have to kind of like stay healthy, keep moving, keep living, keep enjoying life. And then the film ends with them doing this song. It's like beat, 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 beat the Slava or something like that. And you get pictures of each of the, I guess, kids in this family. You get Ali, then you get Mia, and then you get Vanessa at the end. And she, looks kind of pensive or not sad, but she looks serious at the end, which again, I think I was a little confused when I first saw it, but after talking to Goran and thinking more about it, like it shows that, it's not perfect. Like she is still emotional. She is in this strange situation. This is not her ideal situation, but she has come to terms with Dita. She has, a family. She has a way forward, but it's not perfect. It's not, a wonderful ending, but it is an ending nonetheless. And so the song helps to put like a happy tune on this muted but still happy ending. This family is not done. There are still going to be challenges along the way. But at the end of the film, despite all the challenges, despite all the friction, despite all the emotion, it seems like this family is still a family. They've gotten closer. They've kind of realized their roles and are, at least stronger and more of a family unit than they were at the start. So that is Housekeeping for Beginners. Like I said, I really liked it. I thought it was an interesting film. I love the way that it kind of like dealt with some of the racism and some of the homophobic aspects of this area, but it did it in a very subtle way. It did it in a way that like it doesn't like force the issue. It just shows it as kind of a fact of life, which I liked. I thought that that was a nice way to like show some of the conditions and some of the like inherent biases that are resident in this culture, but also in a way that helps to explain the story and helps to build the emotion. So definitely check out Housekeeping for Beginners when it comes to theaters on April 12th, 2024. And if you do see it, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. Let me know what I got right and wrong. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.